it's Iain from R.T.O here. Welcome to a new week and welcome to us going back into hopefully HD. Wow. Yeah, on fibre. It's working well all weekend, so we're back to doing HD shows. So what we're going to start with this week? Well, we have got a new artist we're going to be looking at for the next few weeks. And we'll be looking at the artist that is Sir Paul McCartney. So we're going to start with his very first band that he saw. Well, his first band was the Quarrymen, of course, but they didn't make any records. So we're going to look at the band that made him famous, really. The Beatles. Now, the Beatles are one of my favourite bands. Brought up on it from day one, really. The Beatles were a big band in our house. It's amazing that we're all Beatles fans. My two brothers. We all love the Beatles. I think it might have something to do with our father, but there you go. Formed in 1960. Pete Best originally, but he disappeared, and we were left with John Lennon, Paul McCartney, George Harrison, Richard Starkey, known to us as Ringo Starr. They have been regarded as the most influential band of all time. They rooted in skiffle, which is a pretty cool sound, and that comes through on some of their records. They went into that classic 60s pop, then they went into psychedelia and rock, and the rest is history, of course. I'm going to rank 13 albums, so I'm going to include Magical Mystery Tour and the Yellow Submarine album. So we'll get a crack in. So coming in at number 13, we do have Yellow Submarine. It was the 10th album, released on the 13th of January 1969. And 17th in the United Kingdom, so the States got it first. So this is 6 songs, six songs from the Beatles, 4 new ones, and a couple of that we all know. The remainder of the album was the orchestral soundtrack from George Martin. So first song on here is Yellow Submarine. We'll talk about that a little bit later because it was not made for this album. Come off another album, of course. And then we get Only a Northern Song. Love this beginning. I always have. I love that heavy organ. Sounds like they're all in church. It's just one of them weird and wonderful psychedelic tracks from the Beatles. All together now. Love that. That 1, 2, 3, 4. Can I? It's just a fun track, very catchy, and it's just a really cool track. Then we get my favourite track on the Fat album. I think this is one of people's favourite tracks anyway. Hey Bulldog. Quite heavy in places. Great bass line from Paul. Great little track. Then we get It's All Too Much, another really good guitar work here from George. It's got lots of reverb, really freaky, absolutely brilliant. All You Need Is Love. It's one of them Beatles songs, if I never hear it again I'm not going to get upset, although it is a good track. It just gets played and played and played, doesn't it? I think the best version, of one of the funniest versions, is from the film Love Actually, when they stand up doing the church. I think that's pretty cool. So then the rest of the album is the soundtrack by George Martin. I'm not going to go through these tracks, but all I'm going to say, these are nice little tracks. We get Pepperland, Sea of Time, Sea of Holes, Sea of Monsters, March of the Meanies, Pepperland Laid Waste, and Yellow Submarine in Pepperland. All very nice. I do like listening to it. It's not a bad album. I do like the orchestral score. It's really nice. Nice little pieces of music. Some thrown in with some great little Beatles tunes. So I'm going to give this an R.T.O ranking of 6 out of 10. Okay, coming in at number 12, we got the debut album, Please Please Me, from 1963, 22nd of March. People go, oh, was it this low? I love all the Beatles albums, I really do. There is not a bad Beatles album, but I do prefer some to others. So on here we have got the brilliant I Saw Her Standing There, my favourite track on this album. It's a good little rock and roll tune, and I really like that one. There's no denying that. It's still a great track today. People still play it. A lot of rock bands like it. I can understand why. Then we get Misery. Nice little catchy tune that is. Nice harmonies. Nice vocals from John and Paul on that one. Then we get a cover song, Anna, Go to Him, originally done by Arthur Alexandra. Now I prefer this version. It's got a little bit more oomph, it's a little bit more rocky. Then we get Chains, made famous by Carole King, of course. A little bit different to Carole King's version, both good versions, so I'm happy with that one. Then we get Boys, very similar to the original by the Shirleys even, and it's a great vocal from Ringo. Then we get Ask Me Why, nice little song. I love the harmonies in this one. I do like the Beatles harmonies, and that sounds very, very good. Then we get the title track, Please Please Me, classic Beatles song, nothing wrong with that, it's just great little rock song. Then we get the very first single, Love Me Do. Just love that harmonica in this. Love the vocal in it, it's really good. Then we get P.S. I Love You, another good track. They wrote some great tracks, Lennon and McCartney, and that's another good one. Then we get Baby It's You, written by Mac David and Burt Bacharach. I've heard the original, but this is a far better version. Then we get the lovely Do You Want to Know a Secret, George Harrison song, absolutely belter. Then we get A Taste of Honey. This is much better than Rick Marlowe's version. Mick Marlowe's is more of a crooner style, you know, Tony Bennett, Dean Martin and Frank, that sort of sound, but this is a more rock and roll version of it, and it's good. Then there's a track called There's a Place. It's probably the weakest track on this album personally, and I don't know, it just lacks something. And then we get Twist and Shout, definitely a little bit more rocky than the Isley Brothers version, which is more of that Motown song, but it's rock and roll. Good debut album. The original songs are really good. Even the cover versions on this album are really good. So I'm going to give this one an R.T.O ranking of 6.5. Okay then, coming in at number 11, we'll go to the fourth album, released on the 4th of December 1964. Beatles For Sale. First track on the ear is that lovely tune No Reply. Quirky tune, nice vocals, nice little quirky tune. Then we get I'm a Loser. Love the harmonies in this. Absolutely really stunning sound as well for 1964. Babies in Black. Bit of a bluesy soul, swing side to side sort of thing, really good track. Then we get a great version of Chuck Berry's rock and roll music. Nothing wrong with that one, it's just great rock and roll. I Follow the Sun, a short quirky little track, and I love the guitar work in that, it is just great. That's alright, my thingy's just my cursor just froze. Then we get Mr. Moonlight, very close to the original, and John Lennon sings on this and he does a great job on the vocal. Then we get a song made famous by Little Richard, Kansas City, Hey Hey Hey. Both very good versions. You can't tell the difference really. Great stuff. Then we get a classic from the Beatles, 8 Days a Week. Love the melody in this. I love that clapping. Great. Nice catchy tune. Then we get a really nice version of Buddy Holly's Words of Love. Very close to Buddy's version, and I like that version as well. Then we get a Carl Perkins number, Honey Don't, another good version of a good song. Then we get my favourite track on this album, Every Little Thing. I just love this song. There's something about that arrangement. Absolutely brilliant. I don't want to spoil the party. This is one of them tracks that gets forgotten about. I like this. It's got a great guitar work from George, and it's very skiffle as well. It sort of goes back to their skiffle days. Really, really good track. What Are You Doing? This is one of them unusual tracks. They're starting to experiment in other directions. Nice guitar solo from George on that one. Then we get Everybody's Trying to Be My Baby, another Carl Perkins number. Can't go wrong. Absolutely terrific. Strong album again. The original songs are really good. They're starting to get into their groove. But again, they've put some really good cover versions on here. So I'm going to give this an R.T.O. ranking of 6.6. Must do something about that squeaky chair today. Going off kilter. So coming in at number 10 then, we have the second album released on the 22nd of November 1963 with the Beatles. Not long after their first album. First track on here is called It Won't Be Long. Love this track. Love that key challenge. Good guitar in this. Excellent. All I've Got to Do. Another good track. One of the tracks that again doesn't get mentioned much. It is a solid Beatles track. Then we get All My Lovin'. Best track on the album. I love the vocals in this. I like that jazzy sort of guitar sound as well. Really catchy tune. Spot on. Don't Bother Me. This is a George Harrison song, and you can tell the difference in writing styles from Lennon and McCartney. This one's quite rocky. Really good track. I love George Harrison's stuff. That's really, really good. Then we get Little Child. Great harmonica on this. Again, one of them tracks that's overshadowed by the hits. Really good track. Then we get a cover, Till There Was You, originally composed by Meredith Willson and made famous first by Iain Wilson. Different styles. The original is more of an orchestral, really nice, but the Beatles do a really good cover of it and give it a little bit more rock and roll. Excellent track. Then we get another cover, Please Mr. Postman. Heard the original. That was more I would say more Motown style. This is more rock. Good track. And the Carpenters did it as well. Then the next track is Roll Over Beethoven, classic from Chuck Berry. It's a good version, but the best version to me of that will always be done by ELO. Hold Me Tight, nice little rock and roll number, ripping away, great stuff. Then we have another cover, Smokey Robinson and the Miracles song, You Really Got a Hold on Me. I like both versions of this. Again, you get that more soulful from the Smokey Robinson and the Miracles, and this one's really more rock and roll. Both good versions. I Want to Be Your Man. This is Ringo singing. It's a little bit different. I've always been a little bit on the fence with Ringo singing. Sometimes he sings good, sometimes he don't. This one's okay. Then we get Devil in Your Heart. Definitely a better version than Richard Drapekin's. The harmonies are really good on this. Not a Second Time. One of them tracks that's forgotten about. I think it's a really good song. It's quirky. It's got them typical straights of the Beatles, the nice guitar work, the bass, the steady drum from Ringo. Very, very good. Then the last track is another cover, Money, That's What I Want. 4 versions of this. You got the original by Barrett's song, good version. Jerry Lee Lewis did it, it's okay. Then the Beatles have done it, but my favourite version, this will always be the Flying Lizards. But it's a great little track anyway. Then we get, so this is another good album. Lots of covers on here, but good covers. The original songs are really, really good, and I think they chose some better ones, and this one's a little bit better than the debut. So I'm going to give this an R.T.O ranking of 6.9. Okay, coming in at number 9, it's the first album with all original songs, released on 10th of July 1964, and it's from the film A Hard Day's Night. The other one that's got what's his name? Can't think of his name now. Wilford Bramble, that's it. Plays Paul's uncle. Opens up with the classic Hard Day's Night. Great track. Love the solo in that. Brilliant. We get another great track after it. I Should Have Known Better. Love the harmonica. Great little track. If I Fell. One of my favourite songs on the album. I love this. The words are lovely. It's a really nice tune. Then we get I'm Just Happy Just to Dance With You. It's okay. Nothing special. It's just a decent Beatles song. Then we get And I Love Her. It's not just my favourite song on the album, it's my favourite Beatles song ever. I just don't know, there's something about it. The guitar work on this is lovely. The lyrics are strong, the words are nice. Yes, I'm a bit of a soft spot for that one. Then we get Tell Me Why. It's okay, not one of my particular favourite Beatles songs, I'm afraid. I know there's a lot of you like that one, but for me it's okay. Can't Buy Me Love, classic. Loved Ringo's drumming on this one. I can't say any more about Can't Buy Me Love, it's just brilliant. Any Time or At All, quite a good track. One of them again that's sort of forgotten about. Nice guitar work from George, excellent. I'll Cry Instead, it's a bit of a skiffly type track, really good. Then we get the brilliant Things We Said Today, strong track. Love the acoustic guitar on this, really holds the track together. When I Get Home, one of the weaker tracks on the album. I'm not a great fan of that one. You Can't Do That, love that quirky tune, love the vocals on that, brilliant. I'll Be Back, lovely acoustic sounding, nice vocals, great way to end the album. There are so many good songs on this album. It's very hard to rank these. 5 minutes on the board and put Roger Waters is on the floor. Yeah, it's a great album, but it's only coming in at number 9 because there are so many great Beatles albums. So I'm going to give this an R.T.O ranking of 7 out of 10. Okay, coming in at number 8. Released in December 1967, The Magical Mystery Tour. Opens up with The Magical Mystery Tour. Love this song. There's something about this. I love that when you get the rock and the mellow trumpet. Very, very good. Then we get the beautiful Fool on the Hill. Love this song. Doesn't matter who plays this, it always sounds good. I've heard some great instrumental versions of this. It's just a really good song. Flying, one of the tracks I don't like ever. I just don't like it. Bit like Blue Jay Way, weird. Don't like that one either. Then we get a great song, Your Mother Should Know. Great vocal from Paul. You're going to hear this sort of arrangement through Paul's career. He just does these sort of tracks really well. Then we get one of the greatest songs ever written by the Beatles, of course, I Am the Walrus. It's psychedelic rock at its best. This was the benchmark song to me. The lyrics are just weird and wonderful. Sitting on a cornflake. I am the walrus, cuckoo, cuckoo. What's all that about? That's brilliant. Then we get, on the second side, it's called the singles. We get Hello, Goodbye. Love this song. But all I can remember this song now is them coming down that staircase in the movie, which is a weird thing. Not my favourite Beatles movie. Then we get Strawberry Fields Forever. Now, I'm not very keen on this. I know a lot of people like it, but I think they made better tracks than that. Then we get Penny Lane. I love this. It's amazing. The time when I've been up to Liverpool, I've been down Penny Lane a few times, and when you go turn the corner and you see the sign, it starts in your head. It's a great track. Baby You're a Rich Man, It's Okay. One of the weaker tracks. And then we get another rendition of All You Need Is Love. Doesn't matter. Okay, this is an interesting album. It's got some good bits and it's got some weird bits, but it's still an enjoyable listen. So I'm going to give this an R.T.O ranking of 7.2. Okay, coming in at number 7 then, we've got the 12th and final studio album, released on the 8th of May 1970. Let It Be. It was after a month after the breakup. This is an album that tells that they're in a bad place, but we'll talk more about that later as well. So Let It Be. First track is The Two of Us. Bit of nonsense. I do like the beginning when John talks about this is the Charles Haltree and the Death Aids. First part when Doris gets her rose. Don't mind that track, it's alright. Dig a Pony. The only good thing about that is the solo. Weird, I just don't get that. Across the Universe, wonderful song, and it's one of the better songs off this album. If you remember, we talked about this in the Then and Now. I, Me, Mine, great little rocker from George. Love that track. I do love that one. It's one of the better ones. Dig It. Just a pointless 50 seconds of nothing really. Then we get the beautiful Let It Be, of course, one of the best songs Paul McCartney ever wrote. Beautiful song. Then they do that traditional little song for 40 seconds, Maggie May. It's alright. I've Got a Feeling. It's okay. I love the guitar solo on it. Absolutely brilliant. One After 909. It's not a bad track. It's sort of their early day stuff. Really good. Then we get the wonderful The Long and Winding Road. Brilliant track. For You, Blue. One of the quirky songs on here. So, sounds like he's coming from the Mississippi Deltas. It's pretty good. Get Back. Classic. Been watching that documentary. Pretty cool. You can see a lot what the tensions were. This should never have been the last album. Really, they should have released the other. We'll talk about that later, but this was No, shouldn't it really sort of put an anticlimax on it? It's got some rubbish on here, I'm sorry, and that's why it's so low down. But the good tracks are fantastic. So I'm going to give this an R.T.O ranking of 7.3. I know a lot of people love this album, but some of the weird stuff, it's just, I think it was just put on there to fill the album and get it done, in all honesty. So let's move on, shall we? So coming in number 6, we go to the 5th album, released on the 6th of August 1965 from the film Help. Opens up, of course, with Help, classic song, nice backing vocals on this, really good track. Second track, the brilliant Night Before, love Paul's bass line on this, strong track. Then we get my favourite track on here, You've Gotta Hide Your Love Away. Highlights of this is the nice guitar work and the flute. I Need You, love the guitar effects on this, great track, excellent. Another Girl, one of the catchy tunes on this album from the Beatles, good vocal from Paul. You're Gonna Lose That Girl, another classic, we all know this one, it's just a brilliant track. Then we get another great track, Ticket to Ride, love that opening riff to this song, really good song, one of the best. Then we get a cover, Act Naturally, sang by Ringo Starr, originally released by Buck Owens and the Buckaroos in 1963, and it's not a bad version, and it's not a bad vocal from Ringo. It's Only Love, not a particular favourite of mine, I'm sorry, I don't like all the Beatles tracks. You Like Me Too Much, love the bluesy feel to this one, really good song. Tell Me What You See, nice quirky song, full of energy, brilliant little track. I've Just Seen a Face, again some nice guitar work, it's got that skiffle sound again, which is really good. Then we get the brilliant Yesterday, just a brilliant track, don't have to just tell you about that one, we all know it's brilliant. Then we get a great version of Larry Williams' Dizzy Miss Lizzie, sorry, brilliant. Great stuff. Great songs on this, there's so many hits, probably from the best film they ever made, Help. Love that film and love the songs on it, so I'm going to give this an R.T.O ranking of 7.4. Okay, coming in at number 5, this will upset a lot of people, but we all prefer different albums with the Beatles. Now for me this one sits where it does. It's the 9th album, released on the 22nd of November 1968. It's a double album, the Beatles, or it's more affectionately known as the White Album. First track, this is great, Back in the USR, nice rock track, really good track, love that one. Dear Prudence, again I love this, very very good track, very psychedelic. I remember Susie and the Banshees did a great version of that as well. Glass Onion, great little track, solid rock track. Then we get Oh Bloody Oh Blada, it's okay, personally I prefer Marmalade's version to that. Wild Honey Pie, oh dear, I don't like it at all. Like the continuing story of Bungalow Bill. Why do we have to have Yoko Ono on here? She can't sing, for starters. This should have been just put aside for a Lennon solo album. It's just horrible. Her voice grates on me. I mean, if you've watched that Get Back, no one acknowledges us when they walk in the morning. I think there was a lot of tension because Yoko sat there. Then we get a brilliant track, While My Guitar Gently Weeps. Love the guitar work in this. This is absolutely brilliant. One of George's finest songs, I think. Happiness is a Warm Gun. Nice little track. Excellent stuff. One of the better tracks on the album. Then we get Martha My Dear. I love this. Paul McCartney at the piano. Quirky song. Love it. I'm So Tired. That's okay. Nothing special. Blackbird again. Brilliant. It's them riffs that everyone tries to play. And apparently it is hard to play. I've got a couple of guitarists in my family and they say it's a very, very hard piece to play. I take their words for it. Piggies, forget that. Rocky Raccoon, it's okay, bit of fun I suppose. Don't Pass Me, it's okay again, it's not particularly brilliant. Then we get Why Don't We Do It in the Road. Yeah, love that little quirky thing. Then we get I Will. It's okay. Julia, song about John's mother, of course, is pretty nice. Then we get the Rocker Birthday. What a track that is. Great drumming from Ringo in this and a great vocal from Paul. Your Blues, great little blues song, absolutely good. Mother Nature's Song, I like that one, it's a nice little track. Then we get Everybody's Got Something to Hide Except Me and My Monkey. Nice little rocker with a long title. Sexy Sadie, it's okay. Then we get the brilliant Helter Skelter. I think this is the heaviest track that the Beatles ever recorded. It's brilliant. I just love them driving riffs. Long, 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 it's okay, it's nothing special. Revolution 1, love that guitar solo, pretty good. Honey Pie, I love this. Very something you'd listen to in a speakeasy bar back in the 30s. Love that track. Savoy Truffle, another really good little track, great guitar work on that. Cry Baby Cry, it's not too bad I suppose. Revolution 9, what a waste of vinyl space and a waste of a breath. It's horrible. I never play it. I skip it. It's just weird. It's 8 minutes 15 of rubbish. Sorry. And then we get Good Night again. It's pretty bad. Okay, a bit controversial having this album so far down. People will probably start freaking out at me. But unfortunately this album is full of, half of it's just filler. If you took the bad tracks off, the good tracks left would make this a fantastic album. And it would have been my #1 without a doubt. But because of the rubbish, and you don't hear that often said about the Beatles, but there is a lot of rubbish on this. People are probably pulling their hair out, but even some of my family members that are avid Beatles fans say that there is some rubbish on that. And I don't want to hear Yoko Ono on Beatles tracks. But for the good tracks, I'm going to give this an R.T.O ranking of 7.5 because there are some absolute gems on that album. Okay, then coming in at number 4, we go to the 7th album released on the 5th of August 1966, Revolver. First track, Taxman. Love the bass line in this. Great little track. This is where it's getting more rocky and more psychedelic, of course. Pretty good. Then we get the brilliant Eleanor Rigby. What lyrics? What? Brilliant. I love the little line, wearing a face that she keeps in a jar by the door. What a lyric. Great track. I'm Only Sleeping. That new sound coming in. I love the vocal from John Lennon on that. Really good. Love You. Love You Too. The dreaded sitar from George Harrison. Oh. Yeah. Sounds like I'm sitting in an Indian restaurant eating a curry. I actually did that once when I had friends around for dinner. I put that on. It caused a little bit of a laugh. Then we've got Here, There and Everywhere. I love this song. I can sit and listen to that all the time. Lovely. I love the gentleness of it. And then we get Yellow Submarine, which is the song actually off this album. Now, I love this. I loved it as a kid. It's such a catchy tune. I've got no problem with this song at all. She Said, yet again, one of those nice new sounding songs by the Beatles. Lots of really intricate guitar work on that. Excellent track. Then we got the wonderful Good Day Sunshine, them lovely Beatles harmonies. Brilliant. Angel Birkin sings next. Love the guitar work here from George. Brilliant. For No One, belter. Love the melody on this. Wonderful track. Then we get that really underrated track, Dr. Robert. I love that guitar riff in it. It's a bit weird. Brilliant. I Want to Tell You, what makes this track is the piano. It's a little bit off key to everything else, but it adds to the track. Let me get Got to Get You Into My Life. Again, it's not a track I'm particularly fond of. Then we get Tomorrow Never Knows. Now this is totally out there for the Beatles, and I love this. Really is good. I mean, Phil Collins has done it as well, and he did a great job with it as well. It's a fantastic track. Apart from one track on it, every track is just classic, top to bottom quality. So I'm going to give this an R.T.O ranking of 8 out of 10. Okay then, coming in at number 3, we go to the 6th album, released on the 3rd of December 1965, Rubber Soul. Opens up with Baby You Can Drive My Car, boom 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 boom. Love the piano in that, great track. Then we get my favourite track on this album, Norwegian Wood, The Bird Has Flown. I just love the acoustic guitar on this. The lyrics are great. Very, very good track. You Won't See Me, quirky guitar work from George on that, great track. Then we get another great track, Nowhere Man. Love the harmonies on this. Every time I hear this though, I can picture it on the Yellow Submarine film. Really, really good track, brilliant track. Think For Yourself, one of the heavier tracks at the time from Beatles. So George Harrison number, pretty good. Then we get The Word. I love the quirkiness, and the bass line is killer. Really good song. Then we get Michelle. Best things about this are the harmonies, the bass line and the guitar solo. Terrific track. What Goes On, a little bit country I think. Wingrove sings this and it's okay. Then we get another brilliant track, Girl. I love this. I love all the sighs and the really makes the track very, very good. I'm Looking Through You, another one of those quirky songs like that one. Then we get In My Life, classic song. Don't have to tell you much about that, everybody knows that one. It's a great song. Wait, love the arrangement on this. Lots of percussion on here, maracas, nice guitar work. Then we get another George Harrison song, If You Needed Someone. It's got some really nice harmonies on that, really good. Run For Your Life, another of those tracks that gets forgotten about. Really strong, great guitar work from George on this. An album that's got so many hits on it, and the deep cut tracks are fantastic as well. Every track on here is really good. I love this album. So I'm going to give it an R.T.O ranking of 8.5. Okay then, coming in at number 2, go to 1967, May the 26th, for Sergeant Pepper's Lonely Heart Club Band. Opens up with Sergeant Pepper's Lonely Heart Club Band. Brilliant. Brilliant track. Really like that one. Then we get probably Ringo's best ever vocals that he did with the Beatles. The brilliant With a Little Help from My Friends. That is a superb track. Then we get one of the most psychedelic tracks that I love. And it's one of the best psychedelic tracks they did. Lucy in the Sky with Diamonds. Getting a little bit dry. Hold on a minute, folks. Getting Better. Great track. Love the bass line in this. It's got some really nice guitar textures as well. Really good track. Fixed in a Hole. Brilliant track. I love that. I don't know if it is a harpsichord, but I love the beginning of this. Really strong track. Love the vocal and the harmonies. Great song. She's Leaving Home. Another classic. Brilliant. Let me get one of my favourites, For the Benefit of Mr. Kite. Again, the great track. Then we get another sitar track, Within Without You. Probably one of the better ones, but it's still a track that I skip over because I prefer the next one. When I'm 64. Love the bass, love the clarinet. I just love the words. It's a wonderful little song. One of my favourites. Lovely Rita Meter Maid. Another great song. Then we get Good Morning, Good Morning. I've always wanted that to open my alarm, but I did it once and God, did I get some grief for it. But it's a great track. Just love that shuffly sound, and the brass just adds to it. Then we get the reprise of Sergeant Pepper, funky version of it, really good. And the album closes with a masterpiece, A Day in the Life. I love the start of it, and then it goes into that jazzy, funky feel, and then it just builds into that crescendo, and then it just ends with the piano bit, boom, and finish, and that's it. Brilliant song. It is probably it's top 5 Beatles songs for me. This album is brilliant. It's only not my number 1 for one track. It's not the perfect Beatles album for that one track, but it's still absolute jaffa of an album. So I'm going to give this an R.T.O ranking of 9 out of 10. So my number 1, always been my favourite Beatles album. And I mean, I think I listened to this as a child and it just blew me away. Released on the 26th of September 1969. It's the brilliant Abbey Road, that iconic cover. Opens up with Come Together. One of the best bass lines on a Beatles record. Some great drumming from Ringo. There's been some really good covers of this song as well, notably the Aerosmith, but this is the best. It's a brilliant track. Second track, Something. Oh, what a track. Again, one of George's finest. The arrangement with the strings, that is superb. I just love the dramatic. It's very dramatic, very atmospheric. Just love it. Next up, one of the quirky songs on this, and I love it, Maxwell's Silver Hammer. I love that little track. Then we get Oh Darling, blues rocker here. Again, this is the sort of sound you're going to get with Paul McCartney as he moves on to other things. His vocal on that is absolutely stunning. Then we get another bit of a fun track from Ringo singing The Octopus's Garden. I love this. Now, I remember when I was a kid, I was in a school production, and it was all about the sea. And I think the drama teacher was a bit of a Beatles fan, because this song was in the show along with Albatross. Yeah, tell my drama teacher she was a bit of a rocker. Yeah, she was quite hippie as well. So I've got fond memories of that song. Then we've got I Want You, She's So Heavy. Oh, rock, rap, jazz song, fantastic. Just mind-blowing stuff. Then we get a lovely song from George, my favourite song on this album, Here Comes the Sun. One of the best. Then we get Because, great harmonies between all three of them, the main singers, Lennon, McCartney and Harrison, just sound great together. Then we get You Never Give Me Your Money, another stonking bass line from Paul McCartney on this. Excellent track. Then we go into that thing that's is quite affectionately known as the Abbey Road medley, because these are very short songs, but they flow beautifully together. We get the Sun King first. This, I love that Hammond organ and the harmonies. It's quite proggy. Then we go straight into that little quirky Me, Mr. Mustard. Nice little ditty. The guitar work on this is superb, and that piano really adds to it. Then Polythene Pan, the heavy bit riff from George is fantastic. Then we go more subtle again and chilled out. She Came Through the Window, through the bathroom window, progressive again. Then we get the lovely piece Golden Slumbers. It is just fantastic, which goes into that Carry That Weight. It's that lovely vocal from the band, everyone's singing on this, just builds up and builds up. Terrific. Then we get the end, great guitar work from here on this, love this. And then that goes into that hidden track of Her Majesty. What surprises me, this album was recorded after Let It Be, so why wasn't it the last album? It's certainly better than Let It Be. Every song on here is brilliant. I don't know what happened, but you know, Let It Be was a bit of a slog, and they come back and I do this. I'll never know why they didn't release this last. I do love that, what I affectionately call the Abbey Road medley. It just flows. It's near enough like a big prog track split into segments. Brilliant track, brilliant album, brilliant cover. It's my favourite album for many years and still will be. Nothing will take it from its #1 perch. So I'm going to give this an R.T.O ranking of 9.5. Well, there you go. There's my countdown of my favourite Beatles albums. I'd love to hear yours. I love talking about Beatles to people. It's what amazes me. I can go into pubs. I remember going into a pub talking about the Get Back movie with someone about 20 years younger than me, and he found it fascinating. And he loves that rock sound of the Beatles. They're a band that appeal to everybody. Okay, that's all for this. Part 1 done. We've got about 6 or 7. Got another Beatles one next week. Bit different, but I'll talk about that more on Thursday. But today we've still got a classic album to do, and today we're looking at a great album from the 80s, Rebel Yell by Billy Idol. So join me for that. Take care for now.